Breaking right now, it appears former President Donald Trump will be on California's primary ballot in March, and today was the deadline to certify the candidate list, and Trump's name is still on it. However, the former president is being removed from the ballot of another state. And Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand joined us with new details on this decision. Jory?
Yeah, David, that's right. No challenge here in the state of California like we're seeing elsewhere, but first it was Colorado, now it is the state of Maine. But unlike in Colorado, where this was decided in the courts, Maine's decision came down to a single person who agreed with a bipartisan group of politicians, saying Trump is an insurrectionist and therefore disqualified.
Tonight, another state has declared former President Donald Trump ineligible to appear on the 2024 ballot.
Maine election law and the Constitution required, indeed obligated me to act.
The Secretary of State of Maine ruling today that Trump engaged in insurrection against the United States by his actions on and leading up to the January 6th sacking of the Capitol.
The oath I swore to uphold the Constitution comes first and foremost.
This follows the decision of the Colorado Supreme Court, which ruled Trump ineligible for the ballot in that state. Though Colorado's Republican Party has already appealed the decision to the Supreme Court, and Trump himself is expected to do so as well. Still, efforts to get Trump off the ballot are still pending in more than a dozen other states. And today, one of the GOP contenders to beat Trump doing a bit of cleanup on the campaign trail.
If it required clarification of saying, yes, the Civil War was about slavery, I'm happy to do that.
Former South Carolina Governor and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley attempting to clarify comments she made yesterday when she left any mention of slavery out of her answer to the question, what caused the Civil War?
I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
It's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
Her Republican opponents were quick to pounce.
It's easy. It's slavery.
Not that difficult to identify and acknowledge the role slavery played in the Civil War.
Haley also making some headlines today by saying if she became president and Trump was convicted on any of the 44 federal felonies he's been charged with, she'd let him off the hook.
I would pardon Trump. What's in the best interest of the country is not to have an 80-year-old man sitting in jail that continues to divide our country.
Of course, Trump still faces more than 40 state felonies in New York and Georgia that, if convicted, could not be pardoned by, say, a President Haley or by a President Trump himself should he win next year. As for the election, the Iowa caucus is in 2 weeks. And if you are wondering, yes, Trump will be on the California ballot on Super Tuesday, March 5th.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.